I think this team is really athletic and they can create their own shot better than teams I played with in the past. And I think that's exciting, but that also can be a downfall if we get too selfish and don't move the basketball as well and get the defense side to side. So I think finding a balance of both of those will help us be successful.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Run It Back on KCSN. I am your host, Jazsmin Halliburton, and today we're going to be talking about all things K-State women's basketball. You know why? Because I have a very, very special guest joining us today, none other than Taryn Sides. It's going to be a good one. She's a good interview. It's going to be great. But now let's go ahead and dive into this, okay? Y'all, if you couldn't tell before, I like this team. I like this K-State women's basketball team. Now, does that mean a whole lot because I like all K-State women's basketball teams that we've had over the years? Sure. But I like this one because we're learning together on who they are and what they are capable of. Now, yes, I understand we're 2 games in, at least statistically, in an exhibition match. I know, sample size isn't huge. I understand. But let me tell you, I like what I've been able to see here. Okay? Now, they just played their game against Lamar, right? K-State was able to handle that 89-61. I'll go ahead and read off some numbers before I really start to dive in about what I liked in this game from these specific players, essentially all of them for the most part. But let's go ahead and dive into this, right? Now, in the field, K-State shot 51% from the field, 33 of 64 in this game, able to put up 64 shots. They shot 32% from three. What I didn't like, they shot 68% from the free throw line. We'll get into that because the whistles in this game were absolutely egregious, let me tell you. 48 paint points to Lamar's 20, 34 bench points. We can thank Arenas for essentially half of that. And they finished this game with only 5 turnovers. You're going to win a lot of games if you turn the ball less than 7 times, right? Only 5 turnovers forced Lamar into 14 turnovers. Lamar was held 37% from the field, 41% from three, 72% from the free throw line. Of course, paint points. They had 20 paint points. They had 36 bench points, and once again, 14 turnovers. Now, let's go ahead and get into a little bit of numbers. Taryn Sides, who is going to be joining us in just a few minutes, she did her big one, like we've seen her do before. Let's be real, right? She scored 20 points, 5 assists, 4 steals. I tell you, her 1v1 defense so far this season, you can see the growth. You can see the growth. Look, when you've had defensive savants, essentially, in the 2 years that she has played with Serena Sundell, with the Glenn twins, teams who know how to play defense. Coach Mitty knows how to coach a defense, right? You can't, she's going to pick some things up, right? And this was 4 steals in this game. Her 1v1 defense has gotten so much better, as one should. Everyone should just keep going up and up, especially when they stay with the program for their entire career. And she's been doing so well. She's taking the opportunities. I know early on in the season, I think shots weren't necessarily falling. I think it was the exhibition game against Tarleton State. It's the first game of the season, new teammates, yada, yada. We understand shots were really falling. She was doing more of a facilitating type of role. She's still able to impact the game in other ways. But now when her shot is falling, she is passing the ball. She got them goggles on, and she's making the right passes, making the right reads when she has the ball in her hands, finishing this game against Lamar, 20 points, 5 assists, and 4 steals. All right. Azalea Arenas, she had 18 points in this game coming off the bench. That's why I mentioned before when K-State had 34 bench points, half of them essentially was from Arenas. And then Jordan Spicer getting her first double-double as a K-State Wildcat with 11 points, 10 rebounds to go with 1 block and 1 steal. We're going to get into that a little bit as well because Jordan Spicer, you have my attention. You have my attention at the 3-point shot. That's what you essentially were known for more than anything. But girl, you showed you got a bag. Jordan Spicer got a bag. We're gonna get into that too. All right, and of course, Brandy Harrod, the freshman, coming in as well. She finished this game with 10 points. Now, I'm gonna get into very much what I like about this team. But also, before I do that, let me mention Nasta Claessens. She is not with the team right now. She's gonna be gone for a week because she is with the Belgian national team. So she'll be back. She'll be back soon. I want to make that known for people who aren't aware, and I get to talking all these players, and someone's thinking about, hold up, what about Claessens? That's why. She's working out with the national team, and she'll be back soon. No worries. But anywho, we're going to get into what I've seen from this team, especially in this game against Lamar. And of course, what we have seen in the first few games of the season with Omaha, SMU, Lamar, everything like that. Now, I'm going to tell y'all what I like. It feels like 90% of this roster can create their own shot. They can put the ball on the floor and touch paint and be able to make their own moves to get a bucket. I don't know about y'all, but I feel like this is not something we have seen in years past. I know we've had plenty of good players. We've seen experienced players that are able to do that and find a way to create their own shot. But this is a young team. These are mainly freshmen and sophomores who either redshirted or never got a whole lot of minutes, who barely touched the floor and is able to have the confidence to do what they need to do with the ball in their hands. They're not scared to have the ball in their hands, especially when they're in a scoring position. I like that. I like that a lot. In years past, I know, especially for younger players, you've seen them kind of stand around a little bit, not sure what to do necessarily, or kind of overthink when they have the ball in their hands. That's when more mistakes tend to happen. That just comes with it when you're a younger player, playing a new system, new school, yada, yada, this, that, and the third. But I don't see that with the players on this team, whether they're starting or whether they're coming off the bench. It's 90% of this roster, at the very least, is not afraid to get to the rack. I like that. And now, because last episode, I talked about how they could shoot the absolute lights out. They're making that extra pass. They're getting open shots. They're finding their shots. They're finding the hot hand and getting it to her. Now I'm thinking, I even talked about, like, hey, that's a great, they might be one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the country. But I always thought, okay, now what are they going to do when teams are going to press the 3-point line a little bit more and take that shot away? Well, hell, you got to see that a little bit. That don't mean nothing. Now I understand the level of competition hasn't been all that impressive so far. You got to see what they do against the Iowa States, against the TCUs, against Colorado, Arizona. You got to see what they do against them. But hell, we're gonna cross that bridge when we get there. Right now, I'm giving praise where praise is due. They are not scared to put the ball on the floor and get to the rack. Taryn's not scared. Arena's ain't scared. Jordan Spicer, Harrod, Janisa Cotton, Gina. I'm telling you, half the names that I just listed, I didn't even list all of them. They're freshmen. They maybe average like 3 minutes a game at their previous school before coming here. It takes a lot to have that type of confidence, and I feel like, I don't know, it sounds like sometimes you can't teach that. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, practice and preparedness will do that for you. But we've seen with not only K-State teams, several other teams that have young players, they don't do that. At least not consistently. I've seen them do this fairly consistently with these new players, and I love seeing that. All right, now an example of seeing that, I talked about Jordan Spicer earlier, right? First, I think 5-star to ever walk through the doors of K-State women's basketball. Now, what we knew coming in this season is her 3-point shot is immaculate, and we've seen that. We've seen that the past, or at least against Tarleton State. We saw it against Omaha. There wasn't a whole lot of offense against SMU. I'll be so real, but we'll get to that a little bit later. But in this game, her 3-point shot wasn't necessarily falling a whole lot, right? So she did something that I didn't know was in her bag. A lot of casual fans just now seeing her didn't know. I think it was her first bucket of the game, the first K-State bucket of the game. They did a hard closeout on her from the 3-point line, because obviously that's the scouting report, one of the best 3-point shooters in the country coming in her class. They closed out hard when she got the ball at the 3-point line. She dribbled up, did a hezzy, and got the lay. Oh, okay, Jordan. All right, we gonna keep on watching. She got her chance again. Essentially the same deal. Close out hard. She take it to the hoop, bust a spin move, put it up with the left. Girl, what? You got the ability. Now I never thought that she didn't. Okay, never thought that she didn't. But I'm like, right now, you look like an all-around player. You don't look like a one-trick pony that has to be, taught and coached up certain other things to get your play in order. You got it in there. She got a bag. And I can't wait to see how deep that bag goes throughout her years with K-State women's basketball. I'm telling you, she has the strength, she has the size. Obviously, I think she's 6'1". She has a 3-point shot. I'm seeing she has the strength and the footwork to drive to the basket. She was putting herself in good positions to rebound. She was getting blocks and attempting blocks. Now the whistle in this game was absolutely atrocious. There was one really hard foul. I think it was the first quarter with Janisa Cotton and another player for Lamar, who ended up leaving the game early in a wheelchair. Praying for her. Hopefully she's okay. But after that really hard foul, that was a double foul, I do believe, in that game, they started calling things incredibly, incredibly tight. And it was tough to get an offensive rhythm going for both teams for the most part. But so that's beside the point. Jordan Spicer showing her defensive ability in the paint. Like I said, things get a little bit different when the competition gets a little bit tougher. But I like that I was able to see her do something other than a 3-point shot. Like I said, I'm not saying that she could never do that or she never had the ability to. I mean, it's just we haven't really seen it a whole lot for the most part. Like, that's what she was known for being, was a 3-point shooter. To show that she has all these other capabilities and to see it so soon in a season, that's exciting, man. That's exciting. That's a 5-star for your behind that is making her presence felt and known these first few games with K-State women's basketball. Right now, I talked about, of course, Jordan Spicer, Taryn Sides improvement, who I'm liking with all of these players we're seeing. Gina Garcia from Spain, her game against SMU. Now, it was an ugly offensive game altogether. Now, that was a game that was against a little bit stiffer competition. Like I said, I want to make sure you kind of see that, see how they do, see how they improve. But you did see them in their first taste of adversity this season. And this was a good step. I don't think they ever really led in that game outside of the first bucket against SMU in Dallas. And they ended up closing out on, it was a ridiculous run. I'm not fully sure off the top of my head. It might have been like a 20-5 run between the end of the third quarter and the fourth. They turned up what they needed to turn up. It was a very low scoring game. K-State ended up winning by a last second layup from Gina to make it 46-44. Like I said, very, very low scoring. But you see what they're able to do when their backs were against the wall, and this was very early on in the season, and you like how they responded. Gino, who's been one of my favorite players to watch so far this season, I like the ball in her hands. I like the pace rather that she plays at. She's always wanting to push the ball up. She's got a hidden strength to her. If you saw her in that that buzzer beater lay, that she looked like she got fouled on. Let's just keep it a buck and get it over the defender and get the game-winning bucket for K-State for them to win 46-44. She's comfortable with the ball in her hands, like how I mentioned all these other players are. She got me nervous in that game against SMU. They had the final possession, of course. I think they had the ball with 16 seconds left or so, and it seemed like over half of that possession, her back was against the basket. She was near half court. SMU was playing pretty decent defense against her. She was just back to the basket. They were like, hey, if you keep her as far away as possible, just see what she does. And all of a sudden, it's like 6 seconds left. She drives all the way to the left side of the floor, turns around, goes through defenders, clutching the ball like a damn running back. Huge steps, but not a travel to muscle her way through to get the game winning leg. Gina, you my girl. You are my girl. You got that dog in you. I love seeing that. I love seeing a little bit of moments here and there with new players to let you know that they got that in them. We saw that with Taryn Sides her freshman year at Iowa, where she had ice in her veins and made free throws that helped them win the game in the clutch moments to beat Caitlin Clark in her house. I knew then that Taryn Sides had that dog in her. You see it in these moments, and I love that I was able to see that in Gina too, and I cannot wait till I see it in the other players too, because I know they got it. They wouldn't have gotten this far in their careers to play Division I basketball in the Big 12 if they didn't, and I love seeing it. I absolutely love seeing it. Now, as much as I'm talking this team up, of course, I know in my opinion, the team expectation, I don't expect a whole lot because, yes, I know I've talked them up. I made it sound like they're the number one team in the nation, but that's what I feel like I'm supposed to do as a fan and as an alumni of this school who just loves sports, who loves basketball, who loves women's sports, right? Now, I do not expect a whole lot from this team because they are so young, not a whole lot of collegiate experience outside of Taryn Sides. So I know in my head I have to remember, be like, hey, expectations. I can't ask them too much. I can't just ask them to go back to the Sweet 16 because I feel like they're probably not ready for that yet. We got to see what they do against stiffer competition. They'll have Texas A&M coming up on Sunday, but baby, that potential is there. That potential is right there. You see it. Anyone who's paying even the slightest bit of attention, you see it. They're fun. This is a different team. This is a different team that we have seen in years past, and we've had some talented teams that we've been graced to see. But if they all stick around, if this team can stay together with a lot of really strong recruits coming in the next year or 2 years, yo, they better watch out. They need to watch out. All right, the rest of the conference, all of NCAA, everybody needs to look out for K-State basketball if this team can stay together and continue to grow. Because I like how Arenas is looking. I obviously, I love my girl Taryn Sides. I like how Gina Garcia is looking. She's going to be one hell of a player in her career. She's the type of player who would be playing for a very long time professionally. Whether that's going to be in the W or overseas, she has that skill set for her to be a prominent player, or at least a very high contributing player for a lot of professional teams if they want her. She has that absolute ability. And I think a lot of that for a lot of these players on this team. But we got to see them. We got to see them against stiffer competition to make sure that I'm not crazy, because I see the little things. I see the little things. I know there's a lot of things that need to happen. You got what they're going to do against the Audie Crooks of the world, against the Samaya Nickas of the world. There's a lot of things you want to see, and it might be rough to start. It might be rough. Where do I think they would place in the Big 12 right now? I can't say. I can't say at all because we haven't seen too much, but I like how they're looking. But we're going to go ahead and go into a break because a very special guest, Taryn Sides, will be joining us on the other side of this break. So do not go anywhere because we'll be right back on Run It Back.
Hey, NFL fans, what's your favorite touchdown? For me, it's the next one. And that's because with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, every touchdown could bring you closer to cashing in. First touchdown scores to anytime touchdown props or the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. And here's the best part. New customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly. So your team hitting pay dirt pays out to you. You download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use code KCSN. That's code KCSN for new customers to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. Pass-through of per wager tax may apply in Illinois. Must be 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. The bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, visit dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
My name is Terrell Jolly. A lot of people call me TJ, founder and CEO of Integrity Capital Management. So Integrity Capital Management originally started out as a property management firm, but we slowly transitioned to what is described as an incremental development firm that's focused on situational housing. I know most people say affordable, but we believe in creating housing for people that are actually in need and built to the end user. I believe everyone needs a home because when you have home, you have hope. The reality is that when you're building a business, one thing you don't think about is like what a true banking relationship means. And, I had the honor and privilege of meeting Debbie early on in my career when I was just trying to get going. And as a small business, it's really challenging at times because people don't understand the concept or not believe the longevity because you're just getting started. But Debbie was willing to take a chance on me, be patient with me. I almost look at it like a grassroots initiative. She's seen and believe what I'm about. Anybody that's really true about their business and want to get some things done, I would definitely trust hands down Emprise because Deb's team, along with Aaron and Jackie and all the amazing people that work behind the scenes, even from the treasury side, I would say, hey, give them an opportunity because you won't be disappointed and you will actually be in hands that actually somebody care and that will see you from start to finish.
Calling all Chiefs fans, you could be on the field at the 50 inside GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Visit Chiefs.com/GEHA now. Enter to win a chance to be on the field for a once-in-a-lifetime view of the pre-game coin toss. Plus, you can score other exclusive prizes. Enter for a chance to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is the proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to Run It Back. I have that very, very special guest joining us today. One of the darlings of Manhattan, Kansas, of course, after Gacky the GOAT, but none other than Taryn Sides. Taryn, thank you so much for joining the show.
Thanks for having me on. I'm excited.
All right, so now, Taryn, I'll go ahead and get this thing rolling. Okay, so everybody knows the deal. You are essentially the only returning player that was able to have a lot of experience, essentially with minutes, right, on this team. And we see the growth that you have shown, at least especially these first few games of the season, and with essentially a brand new team around you. So I want to know, what was your role in helping bringing all these new players in?
Yeah, throughout the last season, that process, it was difficult to see all of my friends leave and just either graduate or transfer. That was hard, but I was also excited about the possibility of bringing in a new team and having the fresh start. Um, I kind of, I think throughout the recruiting process last year with all these new girls, I helped out a lot. I was always asking the coaches, like, what are their thoughts on everything? How can I help? Like, I just wanted to be really involved with it and just get to know the ones that were looking to come here.
So in that process, of course, if you did at all, did your off-season preparation change knowing that you were going to be the one with the most experience?
Yeah, I think in the spring, there's only 2 or 3 of us working out, so a lot of it was one-on-one, which I think was a good thing in terms of developing personally. I was able to work with the coaches on different things, and it was very focused, just like one-on-one work, and that helped me in the summertime because I think I needed that just to excel my game to another level.
So I know in the first few games, obviously, season is fresh and brand new, but the players that you helped bring in so far, they've been showing out. They've been doing really good, especially when multiple players seem like they can handle the one spot, right? They can handle the point. How does that able to take pressure off of yourself, knowing that you can look? Does that make you think you can play a little bit more freely, knowing they have that skill set?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think bringing in Issa Arenas, she's really helped us out this year. She just has a skill set that I haven't really played with throughout my career, and just like being able to take down people off the bounce and create for other people as well as herself. And I think Gina Garcia has played really well the last couple games, and she's continuing to grow in her confidence and just the game here. It's different than what she's used to, but she's grown a lot, I think, and I think her potential is very high, and I'm excited to just play with her.
Oh, absolutely. Gina has been one of my favorites to watch these first few games. Honestly, I have a list of favorites because this is a team that all us K-State fans are learning as you guys go for the most part. It's the first time we've seen a lot of these players essentially ever, especially if they're coming from overseas, right? So I do want to ask you, what does this team bring that's different from the teams from last year and the year before?
Yeah, I think this team just has a different playing style in general. When you have like an All-American center, you're obviously gonna play through her. And I think this season, it's a lot of guard heavy basketball. I think this team is really athletic and they can create their own shot better than teams I played with in the past. And I think that's exciting, but that also can be a downfall if we get too selfish and don't move the basketball as well and get the defense side to side. So I think finding a balance of both of those will help us be successful.
So what do you guys have a bit of a timeline? Because you talked about something that I was talking about before. You guys, it seems like 90% of this roster at the very least can create their own shot off the bounce. And just like you said, that's not something that was as adamant in the past, but you said it could also be the downfall as well. But we also saw you guys shoot the absolute lights out before, especially against who was it, Tarleton State, and you guys were making that extra pass. Do you guys have a goal of when you guys want to try to make that a little bit more balanced? Are you guys going to take this non-conference schedule to really kind of make kind of best of both worlds so it could be a balanced offense as well as defense when the conference begins?
Right. Yeah, I think we're still trying to figure things out with the new team. Every game, we're trying to learn and just get better at playing together with one another. Coach Mitty has mixed up the lineups a lot throughout these first few weeks, and I think that'll be essential in helping us to just learn one another. Obviously, we want to make a lot of threes like we did in the first game, but we have to be able to do multiple things and not just rely on that.
Absolutely. And I know, of course, always have to take advantage of the non-conference games, but obviously better than anybody on this team, when first play starts, things get different, right? Have you started to kind of, I don't want to say warn them per se, but at least show the, or give them some expertise about like, hey, this is non-conference, but things kind of gotta turn up a little bit when a couple weeks Big 12 play starts.
No, yeah, definitely. Me and Tess Hill has been a good leader for this team, and I think we've told them, we're not gonna play another team like Omaha, like they're only gonna be better from here on out. So we gotta prepare and practice for, the conference games, even though we're not there yet. But for the challenging games, that's what we're preparing for, and yeah, just kind of work every day with that mindset. And even our non-con is really tough this year, so we have to really lock in and hone in on what Coach Mindy's asking of us to be successful.
All right. And my last question for you. I know it might be kind of tough because you guys still have to have, I think, South Dakota coming up on Thursday, but probably your toughest game, at least for the non-conference so far, is going to be Texas A&M when they come to town on Sunday. I do believe that it is. I know you don't want to look ahead too much because you have another game in between, but of course, that next level of competition is going to make itself present. So what is kind of the goal going into that game, if you guys have even spoken about it just yet?
Yeah, I mean, we're taking it one game at a time, like you said, but obviously that'll be a good test for us, an SEC team that's going to be really talented and like a team we haven't faced yet. We haven't scouted them or talked about them much, so it's hard to say personnel wise, but it'll definitely be a good game and a good challenge for us to see where we're at.
All right. Well, Taryn, I thank you so much. You have all of our attention this season. You doing so well. Talked about our 1v1 defense has gotten so much better, of course, over the years, as one would expect, with you being essentially the big dog on the team now. And I'm really grateful that you're able to join me on the show today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, everybody. And once again, thanking Taryn Sides for joining us. I will see you back on Run It Back next week. Y'all have a good one.